Beautiful. So, little word about myself. Hi, everyone. I am Joele, and I'm the founder of Filmvest. Today, we'll talk about films and how to change them. Everybody loves them, but not many know the profitable business behind. It is an unforgiving market, however, and access to it is all but easy. Even the industry's biggest companies are being taken over or merged, which left a few established players dominating. Everyone else is in trouble to seek funding, and outside investors remain gated out. Things are inefficient and change is needed. What is crazy is that the public does not have a chance to chip in to this day. We are only trained to associate films with emotions, but what if we saw them as stocks to trade and gain from as well? Well, I'll tell you what would happen. We would finally get access to a cool alternative investment and an active role in film production. Filmmakers instead get more funding and feedback from supporters that share the same passion and promote their film. Why? Because now it's in their interest. And we are Filmvest. We want to let them do it through our blockchain-based platform where people can experience and invest in films like never before. So while we expect the most trending investments to come from blockbusters, we also want small filmmakers to get a chance since they are the most affected by how things work today. This also provides investors with a diversified offers in turn. This is our platform, at least the first version of it, and through it, filmmakers can reach people that want to invest in something they are passionate about and get immediate cash. Investors, in turn, get an insider look at the projects on Filmvest and get a cut of the revenues every 6 months. In terms of competition, there is no direct competitor in the alternative asset market, in the sense that a competitor that specializes in this vertical. As comparable platforms rise in other industries, though, such as music, for instance, and one of the companies is already our partner, we are convinced our timing is right. We aim to capture the film vertical thanks to a business model that rewards all participants. We bring decentralized finance to films by involving for the first time a broad public of investors of all sizes. Unlike crowdfunding, and this is a fundamental difference, investors are not just donors on Filmvest, but become producers on their own. All this with a mature blockchain technology to allow for ownership tracking of shares and audience engagement. Global online investments are trending and expected to reach $5 billion by 2028, while the film industry accounts alone for $660 billion, of which 21 in the UK alone. We are here to connect the dots, starting from Europe, where we can leverage our network to set up for a global reach. The main global market, the US, is next in line. We also intend to reassure our users by selecting the best projects thanks to an experienced board and a proprietary selection algorithm. What we have so far is, with the current resources, we managed to achieve 40,000 euros in letters of interest for our first round. And we're also discussing several prospects for the pipeline and gather 51,000 cold leads ready to be warmed up in the creation of our community. I am Joele. I used to enable people to invest in startups with one of the leading crowd investing platforms in Italy, CrowdFundMe, and it is my mission to let them do it as well with something as cool as films. And sharing the journey with me, I have Bart, which is our tech whiz specialized in architecture and blockchain infrastructure. So if you have some technical question, I'd tell you to ask to him, but he's not here, unfortunately. So please write us back if you're interested in the technology. And Andrea, finally, an international legal guru for blockchain-related project, which is also co-founder to an up-and-coming NFT marketplace that is dedicated for helping young artists, young and established artists in the music and the art space to promote themselves here in Italy, called Universe. We are looking for 320,000 euros to launch our MVP and cover the promotion of our first 2 projects to validate our investor journey. With this trajectory in mind, we will reach 6,000 users and have the selection algorithm online by 2022. Once the platform is still fully tuned, then, and the business model validated, we will scale operations starting in 2023 with 2 other rounds of 1 and 2 millions respectively. I hope you enjoyed yourself and understood a bit about this interesting project which we want to use to change the world and help all filmmakers find a way to see their projects come to a reality and help us break the 4th wall. You will find a QR code here in the last slide if you want to check out our website and give us feedback through our survey link that we put there. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks for presenting, Joel. One major red flag just right off the bat. Did you say your co-founder also has another startup?
That is correct. He is he's actually, we kind of synergized together with that startup, because that's the startup that he initially found to develop the technology, the blockchain technology to then utilize on as a way to distribute and manage the film shares that will then be utilized on Filmvest. So it's actually he's actually bringing his expertise from that other startup in both technology and smart contracting to Filmvest, rather than it being a problem. Also because his participation in the other startup is relatively marginal, whereas he is mostly committed on his time on Filmvest. So he's part of the other startup, but I actually see it as a good fit rather than something that splits him up.
If you're married but mostly committed, that means you're cheating. I think it's similar when it comes to startups. You can't have two babies. You have to kill one or give one away. And I think that that's something that you're going to probably have come up time and time again when pitching investors, is that. So think about it from another perspective. Let's say the other startup starts to take off. What happens to your startup? Well, he's no longer here because he has something that's winning.
Well, he's been instrumental in setting us up because his expertise is legal, and with a company like this, where we basically become gatekeepers for a lot of for the investors' wallets. We have to set up the various contracts which will regulate all the interaction between the producers and the public of Filmvest investors. The crucial part for him would be is now in the beginning to help set up and regulate the infrastructure. Once that is done, I'm not gonna say he's going to be replaceable, because he is still very much committed to the project. But it will the scope of the legal help that we will need will shift to other areas. So his absence won't break the company when it comes at the later stage.
Okay. What's the big picture? What's the big upside for this company? Is it enabling production companies to produce more, or is it onboarding a director like Scorsese that says, screw my company, I'm going to go here and fund it myself and have all the upside? Where do you see the big picture upside for Filmvest?
Well, we started out more as a philanthropic company that just wanted to give more visibility and financial help to small and medium producers that usually face huge competition and unfair standards from the few companies that provide them financing with. So usually major companies that usually put such as Warner Bros, such as Universal, and which put a lot of emphasis on metrics when evaluating a project, or metrics that reward commercial success, rather than considering other aspects that are equally important but not as quantifiable, such as the artistic value of their creation. So, for those that manage to catch their interest, a lot of the time their creative vision is distorted. They need to come down to compromises on their vision to accommodate for those needs. So we wanted to give them a new way to get funding and remain independent in their decision making, being able to listen to the feedback of your investors. But if that feedback only comes, from one big investor that's going to put all the money that you need for the production of film, you're going to be completely dependent on whether they say you need to make it dark or you need to make it light. So making some decisions because from their analysis and projections, that's going to make more sense financially. But if you split the feedback that you receive from your investors in a 100 to making it from 100 to 200 people that are very passionate about your project, so much as they invested their money, not donated but invested, so they actually expect for there to be a financial return from it, you will be able to get a lot of feedback that can steer you in the right direction, but at the same time you will still maintain freedom to make your project, your film project, come true and execute on it. So that was the initial idea, but then we realized that there wasn't a big enough market to justify getting to an international level with this company, and we also realized that there was a huge portion of the market, if we were to appeal to alternative asset investors, that was left unserved, which is the one for films that are already made. So basically, as I mentioned before, we are looking at two main categories of films that people can invest in, that people can buy shares of, which both and the purchase of those both help producers, but in a different way. So for films in production, you are actually helping those little producers that have no many means to close their budgets. So besides usually state grants and lending or private funding, they would use the Filmvest, the possibility to sell a share of their film on Filmvest as a way to close their financing. So you have a film of a budget of a 1 million budget. You raise the first 800,000. You need the last 20%. So you sell 20% of your shares to the people on Filmvest, which
understood. I think we need to